AAFM chose to use dynamic pivot tables to share financial investment data for a couple of reasons. First, summarized data allows us to protect personally identifiable information within individual investment payments. And second, summarized data felt the most approachable and digestible format for our report. Anyone with additional questions about specific programs or investments is encouraged to reach out to AAFM staff for more information. This is just a quick user guide for folks who may be less familiar with Excel pivot tables, and we'll walk through the high-level instructions for how to use the interface. So there are two tabs of information that are available to you. The first is Pivot Table Analyze, which provides data down to the level of each town in Vermont where investments were made. And then Pivot Chart Counties, which only shows investment data at the level of the county in fiscal year, but shows it in two ways, one with a bar graph and then below with the dollar values specifically, again, but only at the county level and by fiscal year for each of the programs that are included in our report, which are at the top here. Returning to the Pivot Table Analyze tab, the two biggest factors in engaging with a pivot table are understanding the layout and understanding how you can manipulate the information. So at the top of both pages, you will see a set of what are called filters. This is a very important how-to guide that is provided here, how you can engage the filters to change the information that's shown to you. By clicking each of these that highlights as I scroll over it, those are buttons. And when you click that, it will show you only the information that meets that criteria. So if I were to click Addison County, it will show me only the investment data that was made, only the investments made in Addison County. You can indicate more than one by hitting Control on your keyboard and then hitting another button. So now I am being shown investment data in only Addison and Chittenden County down to the level of every town. In order to clear any of your filters, you will simply hit this button here, and it will go back to showing you all data. Really quickly, we know that this first column is showing us towns and then actually under a subheading of each county. So if I hit this square with the line through it, I can what's called minimize all of those, and now I am just seeing the totals for Addison County. So you have anywhere you see this box with the line through it, you have the option to minimize and only see that header column or row. In this case, it's going to be the counties. And if you come over here and look at the row headers, there are a couple of options. The first is that you can manipulate data at the level of the environmental benefit that is being impacted. So through the investment, Vermonters have more access to that benefit. The first is clean air, water, and land in the maroon. And the second is nutritious food, which starts here, column AG, in the blue. Below that, you will see information at the level of each program that is included in the report, and each of these abbreviations is spelled out in our narrative report. You also have the ability to minimize and just see program totals, or you can maximize each and see each fiscal year investment by town. So this is just a quick user guide to hopefully help AAFM's investment data feel more approachable and engaging, but of course, please reach out if you have any questions. To meet the requirement in Act 154 of quantifying or measuring the impact of environmental benefits through our investments, the Agency of Agriculture created this Power BI dashboard to provide data in an interactive way for the public. There are 4 metrics of measurement that we are using in this dashboard, and each one of those can be seen on the left-hand side right here. Area of conservation, practices implemented, reduction in phosphorus pollution, value of food distributed at no cost, and number of children fed at no cost through programming. Each of these pages will show you a map of Vermont like you see here and have ways you can engage with the data to understand the measure of impact in what fiscal year and from what program. Clicking on area of conservation, we can see the first metric, and we can also see that this metric was directly impactful for access to clean air, water, and land. That's the same for reduction of phosphorus pollution, and then both value of food distributed and children fed through programming directly contribute to access to nutritious food. There are three main ways that you can engage with the data provided in any of these maps. The first is to engage with the map of Vermont itself. This map is structured to use color hues to indicate a volume of measurement. So locations that have a darker color indicate a higher volume of impact measured. As the colors get lighter, there's less impact measured, and the colors that match the background had no impact measured based on this specific data we had available. You are welcome to hover over, and you will see a little help text pop up where you can see the town name, and for this metric, the acres where a new conservation practice was implemented. You are also welcome to click into a specific town in Vermont, and this table will adjust, as will the total, to show you that these three programs in this town, in East Montpelier, investments from these three programs across the fiscal years of this report led to implementation of new field conservation practices. And here's the total acres from each of those programs. In order to return to the full data set from any choice you make, you can simply click back, the same button where you clicked, and it should bring everything back. So you're now seeing total information, and the map is fully colored. The second way that you can engage with this information is to engage with this table here. So if I wanted to see only the information about the Farm Agronomic Practices Program, FAP, I would simply click here, and it will again change the coloring of the map. So now I'm seeing only the acres of implementation, the new acres of implementation that were a result of investments made through this program across the 3 fiscal years. Again, to return to where I was before, I will simply click the same place. The third and final way you can engage with the map is to use the text boxes that are over here, or the check boxes that are over here under the information about the program, or the metric. These are pretty self-explanatory. You will use the check marks to tell the map what you want to see. So for example, if I wanted to see only the Capital Equipment Assistance Program, or CEAP, and the Farm Agronomic Practices, I would deselect everything else. And I'm now being shown those totals across the 3 fiscal years. I could also choose to see only 1 fiscal year or to see 2 fiscal years. The way that the check boxes differ from clicking into the table of data is that it gives you the option to see multiple programs at a time across Vermont, and to also see multiple fiscal years or a single fiscal year at a time. Whereas clicking into the table, you will only see the total across all fiscal years for that program.